Hey folks, what is up? Welcome back to the iPhone Roundup Show. I'm your host, Nick the Dude. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Here at iPhone Roundup headquarters, we find the best games on the iTunes App Store and give you the rundown on what's worth playing each and every week. Support iPhone Roundup by subscribing to our show via iTunes or YouTube. You can also link or embed our videos on your blog, Twitter, or Facebook page. We've got a mixed bag show for you this week, spotlighting 3 great games, but totally different, for your iPhone and iPod Touch. First up, we look at Chronicles of Inotia, Legend of Fëanor, a great new action RPG title that really satisfies your inner loot whore. After that, we check out iGem, a great new puzzle game with a super satisfying game mechanic. And finally, we check out the farm-themed time management sim, Ranch Rush. Let's jump right into the reviews. We will see you on the other side. If you've been looking for a solid action RPG title on your iPhone in the style of Blizzard's Diablo, Chronicles of Inotia, Legend of Fëanor is just what the shaman ordered. Inotia is a solid piece of software that uses a tap destination control scheme reasonably well and keeps you salivating for that next random loot drop. You never know when that sword you've been eyeing inside the merchant's tent will drop out of a freshly slayed ogre carcass. In most RPGs, leveling up your character is a main draw, and Inotia is no exception. The battle system is pretty hands-off and may not be for everyone. Personally, I enjoyed it, although I realize some people will probably want more. After progressing a few levels, you add some skills or special attacks that do mega damage as you upgrade them after each level up. One major difference between Inotia and most RPGs is that there's very little in the way of story. If you see 4 lines of dialogue in a row, that would probably be the longest stretch of story in the game. In general, I can't stand the convoluted and drawn out RPG stories, so I love the fact that this game brought the action to the forefront. I'm interested in getting out there and chopping stuff up with my sword anyway. I don't need much in the way of context or motivation to get me going. I mean, I'm here, aren't I? There's not much punishment for dying, which I like. You're sent back to your town, and for a price you can be transported back to where you died. Every map except your hometown has randomly generated geography, which gets a tad annoying having to search for a new exit or entry point each time. I'm not really sure what, if anything, this adds to the experience. The quest system is nice because you can take on more than one at a time and complete them at your own pace and order. There's a good amount of grinding in the game, but the loot drops keep it interesting enough to keep plugging away. The pet system that developers boast about in the description isn't really what you think it would be. But it doesn't really matter because the game that is there is solid, and the parts that matter, the loot drops, the leveling up, the quests, and the combat are all very satisfying, and make Inotia a worthwhile experience. I'm hoping for a sequel with improved frame rate, a bigger skill tree, more character customization, and some control tweaks. As of this writing, Chronicles of Inotia is on sale for 99 cents, and I would recommend it highly to anyone who's into role-playing, loot drop, and grinding games. At first glance, you might mistake iGem for yet another match 3 puzzle game like Bejeweled, but don't be fooled. iGem asks players to manipulate light-colored gems into larger squares or rectangles, at which point they can be removed from the board to earn points. A similar mechanic was used to great effect in one of my favorite puzzle games, the new Tetris, on the N64, where players would gain bonus points for arranging standard Tetris pieces into perfect squares. This was one of the most satisfying mechanics I've ever come across in a puzzle game, and was surprised that it never caught on in more titles. iGem uses the square and rectangle building as its base mechanic, and it's super fun arranging the pieces to form really big gems. Unfortunately, if that mechanic doesn't excite you, there's not much more to see in iGem. There is one added element where you can at any point spin a wheel to gain a power-up like a bomb, a time stop, and a few others, but it seems a little tacked on and doesn't add to the game's overall satisfaction. For me, the classic mode is by far the best. The puzzle mode is just okay, and endless mode is a more chilled out version of classic, with pieces dropping from the top of the screen only after you clear a gem. Aside from adding 1 or maybe even 2 peripheral mechanics, I would like to see a more exciting animation when you remove a large gem. I think iGem is a great puzzle game with loads of potential. I've been playing iGem Deluxe, which sells for $1.99 and contains all the modes, but you can get each mode a la carte, including my favorite, Classic, for 99 cents each. There's also a free version if you just want to give it a whirl. When I first came across Ranch Rush, I was thinking and kind of hoping it was some kind of plant and animal breeding game. Not sure why I thought that, but I did. Anyways, turns out Ranch Rush is a well fleshed out time management sim that takes place on a farm. You have to plant and grow veggies to fill your customers' orders, as well as feed livestock and manage machines that produce different items such as milk, honey, and ketchup. While I'm kind of burnt out on all the time management sims being released of late, I thought Ranch Rush did a great job squeezing the most out of the iPhone platform. The art and graphics were very high quality, and the controls worked beautifully to quickly move your little ranch chick around to gather, pick, and harvest everything needed to fulfill your customers' orders. It was definitely satisfying to plot out her actions in advance and then sit back and watch as she carried it all out. Although there are a lot of different items to grow and produce, the game seems to miss on giving you a sense of actual progression. Sure, the levels get harder and the orders get bigger, but it never seems like you're becoming more efficient, if that makes sense. I still think Ranch Rush is a great game and definitely one of the better time management sims available on the App Store. Fans of Diner Dash and Sally's Salon will likely find a new favorite with Ranch Rush. The $1.99 price point is spot on, but a bit of a tough sell without a trial version. Alright folks, that is our show for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can get show updates at twitter.com/iPhoneRoundup, and you can email questions, comments, suggestions, or promo codes to iPhoneRoundup@gmail.com. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.